Now, can you introduce yourself there, please?
My name is Anne Kennedy. I'm 55. I'm one of the Irish delegates in that age group. And that's why I'm on board. I suppose because of that category I was chosen.
Brilliant. So how did you get involved in VSI?
My involvement with VSI was actually by accident. And I think it would be about 6 or 7 years ago, coming up to Christmas. And I'm a singleton. And I have a very good family and everything else, and they all love to look after Christmas. So I think this would have been maybe about the third Christmas after my father died, whom I would obviously have spent Christmas with, while he was alive. And it was a case of, what are you doing for Christmas? What are you doing for Christmas? And I thought I'd like to be doing something where I was useful. And I suppose that's what I would have known kind of at Christmas time when my father was alive. You go down, you put on the crib, you'd make sure he had his whiskey in. And so I actually wanted to be doing something where I was of use. And I spotted this ad in, I think it would have been Active Link. Had no idea it had anything to do with VSI. And Cushla were looking for volunteers for Christmas. And it was absolutely perfect. So that was my first project with VSI, was going down to Cushla in Roscommon. And it was fantastic because you felt you were making some little difference. I mean, sometimes it was as simple, I felt that somebody, at least they were reassured while they were waiting for somebody to take them to the bathroom that somebody had gone looking for a helper. Now, if you couldn't do that for somebody for Christmas, but certainly, I mean, I came away just feeling that was worthwhile. And we had great fun. So that was my first VSI.
Brilliant. And what have you learned about volunteering through this project?
Through this particular project, I suppose it would be my first experience of I being the volunteer on an international programme. I would have worked as coordinator, where I would have had volunteers from all over the world, actually. On a HIV/AIDS awareness programme. That was part of my job. So I suppose that international element, and seeing it from the other side, certainly the whole comparative thing between Finland and the Czech Republic and the facilities that are available, the attitude is, I think you can put all the wheelchair access signs up, you can do all kinds, but you've got to get it into people's mind that people with disability and the older age people, we're all entitled to participate in this planet on the same level according to our abilities.
Absolutely.
So it was good to see, I think, Ireland in terms of implementing disability legislation. I think we're not doing too badly. That's not a way of saying we can be complacent, but no, at least we're there.
Yeah. And what skills would you say have you learned from this project?
I suppose from this particular project, opening up to other countries, because at this stage, with my work with VSI, because I've been back to Cushla umpteen other times and down for the summer project, so over those years, I would have had a lot of opportunity of working with people with disability. And I also do adult literacy tuition, and that happens by accident again, that I got students with intellectual disability. So from this programme, I think it's more the foreign aspect and other cultures. And I suppose we're not going to be a lobbying group out of it, but I think we do want to come up with a consensus as what is the way forward to change the mindset of people. And to me, it's changed the mindset. You can have legislation.
Attitudes in a way.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the benefits of volunteering?
Oh my God, where would you start? You get to do things that you can't do in your other real life, or whatever you'd like to call it. And that's one of the very first things. You meet people that you wouldn't meet maybe in your ordinary job. You meet them at a very special kind of level. I think you learn to take it that people are on a particular volunteering project for whatever reason, maybe very different from yours, but that is a valid reason, and you just take that on board. And that has been at times quite an experience. Um, I mean, you're obviously doing things. I mean, even real practical things like I know how to stow and deploy the lift for the bus for the wheelchair. I have learned how to use the spray machines in the kitchen in Kushla when you're doing the dishes, and there's a whole like conveyor belt. I mean, these are all things you couldn't do before. The very, very basic things. And I suppose I was most concerned I would have started. Do I know how to put on the brakes on a wheelchair? But people are doing that for themselves. All right, some might say, would you ever do that because there's something in their hand? But those kind of very practical things. But I think, there's an awful lot that I've learned in there that I haven't put into little boxes. And at least I hope I have.
And can you tell me some of the challenges or barriers you've experienced through?
I suppose some of it would have been maybe the time factor. In terms of, it's not a barrier, it's a challenge just to organise yourself. That, saying you're going to take so many days of your summer holidays, to do a particular thing. Financially, that would be difficult if you're taking time off that you're not going to get paid for, and I think that could be a barrier. What else? I suppose sometimes would have said, can I commit myself to that, maybe months in advance, just in case something was going to happen career-wise or something in between. But I think if you were to do that, we'd keep putting our life on hold forever and a day.
Absolutely. And what would you like to do following on from this project?
In terms of volunteering?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
I suppose I would like to see coming from this, not necessarily conclusions, but that we would have, not necessarily a body of findings, but that we would be able to say that at the end of this project, we feel that A, B, and C has been done, could be done. And again, I say it's not lobbying; it's trying to change attitudes.
And do you think work or volunteering experience has helped you to get work or improve your work?
Oh, I would say it has must have improved my work. Hope it did. Did it help me to get work? It possibly did, in its own way, that it made me kind of maybe more open individual, less phased out. If you're on a project and you're getting people into a wheelchair accessible bus and maybe somebody has to go back to the bathroom or something, it's not the end of the world. In the other world, my God, if you were 5 minutes late, you think, that the whole place was going to fall asunder. So, I think it just gets things in perspective. And you realise what's a real crisis. And it's a bit like the first world crisis and the third.
Absolutely. And do you think your age has affected your volunteering?
In terms of the projects that I would pick, is it?
Interesting.
So I think I possibly volunteering doing things that I was doing 30 years ago. Outside of this programme, I do the news tape for the blind. I think I must be doing that about 30 years. I'm thinking over 20 years of a voluntary board trying to get off or encourage other people on. So I don't think I've done anything that's really age related. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be on this programme only that I'm 55. But outside of that, no, I don't think so.
Okay. And what would you like to tell other older adults who might be interested in volunteering?
Get up and do it. And don't start thinking that there are barriers that aren't surmountable. I know there might be things you've got to get to a particular place, if you want to do a phone line or something like that, or say, will there be questions that I can't answer? Places that run those kind of things will have training, and choose something that you can do. If you strip it down, that you can do it. Like, I'm not suggesting that somebody who may get very upset, we'll say on a Samaritan phone line or something, that's you can't use that as a counselling session for yourself, because that's not helping anybody. But if you say, oh, I couldn't possibly work in the Oxfam shop, because I don't like dealing with the public, I think go in, try it for a day, talk to them. I don't know offhand if Oxfam have training sessions, but I'd be surprised if they didn't. So do it.
Yeah, just do it. And what have you learned from visiting other countries and meeting other nationalities?
I'm kind of going back to what I said already. Seeing how Ireland kind of lives up there, seeing the things in common maybe rather than the differences. Yeah. Obviously, travelling around and the tram facilities or the lack thereof. It was a real life experience. In Prague, we got all the signs and said yes, it was wheelchair accessible. We go down to the second or third level, which was wheelchair accessible, but it doesn't take us down to the tram we want to go. So we have to come back up. Helsinki, we thought Scandinavian country, this is going to be so perfect, and forgive me, Helsinki, but I'm just in Ireland isn't that bad. The first two trains that came into the station had the wheelchair accessible sign, but there was no ramp. So the first train went, second train, we'd wait until the third train. So I suppose just the living of that, and seeing what it is like on a day-to-day basis. Now, what that has to do with me being 55, I think I'd see the same thing whether I was 25. But maybe in 10 years' time, when I'm on my Zimmer frame, I'll have learned the patience. No, hopefully that should not for another 30 years.
Now, and last question, how would you promote volunteering to anyone and everyone, be there disability, over 55?
I would say, again, get up, get out and do it. You've absolutely, I think, nothing to lose, unless you choose something that is just so totally against one's gut or personality. In very basic ways, if you think about older people, it's a way of getting themselves out of the house. There will be a feel-good factor. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be some way that there wouldn't be some good for somebody else coming out of it. In addition to all the feel-good factor that you would get as an individual.
Brilliant. Well, thank you